Hi, I'm Isabel and welcome back to my channel. I'm in my competition outfit because I'm just coming back from the Hawke's Bay Regional Speed Puzzling event. It was held on Saturday in Napier. That's in New Zealand. And I'm really excited to tell you all about it. It was an amazing day, so let's do it! To fully understand what happened on Saturday at the Hawke's Bay Regional Speed Puzzling event, we need to go back 2 days to Thursday, because on Thursday I started to do research on what potential puzzle we're going to get on the day. I mean, what puzzle you exactly get on the day, you will never know. It's a secret. And they come out in those plastic bags, or bags of some sort. And so even on the day you don't see what it is. And only just before the race you're allowed to cut the bags open and remove the box and see what it is. But what you do know when you sign up to a speed puzzling event is the brand that it's going to be and also the size it's going to be. Because like all these events are sponsored by some brand or another. And this event was sponsored by eeBoo Peace and Love, 500-piece puzzle for individuals and 1,000-piece puzzle for the teams. So eeBoo is a brand that I haven't come across before. I only do jigsaw puzzles that are in the library, and our library is mainly Holzen and some cheap stuff that you don't really want to be associated with. But luckily my friend Mike owns 2 1,000-piece puzzles from eeBoo, and he kindly borrowed me those a few weeks ago. I'll link the time lapses in the description if you want to have a look at those. But other than that, I haven't come across that brand at all. So I started my research by going on their website, eeBoo.com, not sponsored as always, you know that. And they've got 18 different 500-piece puzzles. 2 of them are new releases. So quite often brands use the speed puzzling events to showcase their new releases. So let's keep those 2 in mind. But eeBoo is American, I found out, and I thought that I had read somewhere that the NZJPA, which is the New Zealand Jigsaw Puzzle Association, who organizes these events, that they work with the Jigsaw, which is an online store here in New Zealand. So I thought I read that somehow, so I decided I'd go on the website of the Jigsaw, jigsaw.co.nz, filtering by brand, eeBoo, and the piece count to 500. And that's only 9 of them, and the new release is sold out. Isn't that interesting? Is it sold out because NZJPA got them all? I don't know. So then to continue my research, I downloaded the 9 images from the website and then also the 1 new release from the eeBoo website. That makes 10 in total, and I thought 10 sounds doable to look at. Well, the 1,000-piece puzzles, there were like 70 or something, so it was ridiculous. So I decided I'll focus on the 500s. And while closely looking at the images one by one, which is called studying, by the way, I thought to myself, like, surely there must be a way with AI and common technology, and we're so far advanced with things, there must be a way to simulate puzzling those. And boom, it hit me. Mum does these online puzzles in an app on a tablet, and when she was here last time, I noticed that there was a feature in this app where you can upload your own photos and then puzzle those ones. So I had a plan. I got my old tablet out, super crappy tablet. Battery's always empty when you need it, and you have to charge it to at least 20% to get it up. And anyway, super annoying. I got that out, downloaded the app, started the 7-day free trial because the feature to puzzle your own pictures is not part of the free version, and the subscription is $11.99 a week. Like, what are these people thinking? Like, who's paying that? I mean, like, for that money you can get a full streaming service for a whole month. Or you can get a predatory puzzle app that tries to upsell you at every opportunity for a week. So this is obviously not sponsored and also not recommended. Hate this app, is absolutely predatory. But anyway, 7-day free trial, here we go. So finally I had all the images in the app. It took a lot more of working around there and like getting the formatting right and moving them on the tablet, and like it was all more work than I actually want to admit, but finally I got the images into the app and got it working. And in this app you can choose which piece count you want, and you can also choose what type of pieces you want. Like you can have regular pieces or like a circular shape or like different type of cuts. And you can also choose if you want to have rotation or not, which means like if the pieces are already in the same direction that they go on the image, or if some of them are like on the other way, and you like in real world you would need to rotate them to go where they need to go. And because you can choose the die cut is obviously not the same as the original puzzle, so it doesn't scan for the die cut on the picture and does that. That would be actually quite good if anyone wanted to develop that. I think I would pay $11.99 a week for that. Well, only for the week before the event, but anyway. So I thought that was better than nothing, so I started a routine. So for each of the pictures, I would start with the circular cut on the 70 pieces without the rotation, so fairly simple. Because in the app you only see the pieces and the white board where the pieces go, but you don't see the reference image, which, you kind of have to guess where the pieces, like you work through it as you go and figure out what the picture is going to be, which is actually quite good because then you kind of work through it more and learn more where everything goes. So I started on 70 pieces, fairly low, no rotation. And once I had that sorted, I went to 280 with the circular. Like for the circular, that's the highest that they have. Like for regular shape, you can go higher, but on the circular shape, 280 is the highest. And also with rotation off, because otherwise it takes forever. And once I had that sorted, then I would go back to the 70 pieces, but this time with the rotation on, and then move to the next image. So I would do every image like at least 3 times. There was one square image where I took the normal die cut, not the circular one, just because that made sense. And after 2 days of online puzzling and getting annoyed with this predatory app, anyway, I got through my 10 images and I decided to rank them by my preference on what I want to see at the speed puzzling event. So my favorite ones were the Collecting Nature, which was the sold out new release, which I thought was a really high contender as well, so I would have loved to see this one. And the Still Life with Flowers, and also the Theater of Flowers. So those ones are my favorite ones, not by the image I like the most, because that's irrelevant in speed puzzling, nobody asked your opinion. It's more like on how easy it would be and how good it would fit my own capabilities, I guess. None of the images are my cup of tea, really. They're all too flowery and anyway. In the middle column, I've got Autumn Bouquet, which is the new release that is not on the Jigsaw. Then also Bluebird, Yellowbird, which has a stitched pattern, like it looks like someone stitched the image onto the puzzle. It's really weird. And Rooftop Garden, which is the squared one that was there. My least favorite ones were the 3 with the mushrooms, because they were so blurry and all over the place and really weird. And the kids drawn image, so there is this image where kids have drawn a zoo and zoo animals. I was like, no way. But just a quick side note, what I should have done is that I would go on the NZJPA website and see which other puzzles they have already used in other competitions, because all of the regional events in all the New Zealand regions are sponsored by eeBoo. So I should have looked at the previous ones. And to be honest, in my last video about practicing for the nationals, I actually scrolled through the results, so I actually gone there and completely ignored that bit. But anyway, if I had done that, I would have seen that Collecting Nature, my overall favorite, was in the Auckland regionals in March, and also the Autumn Bouquet was in the Dunedin regionals, also in March. So I could have saved myself those 2, because surely they wouldn't choose the same ones again. And then later on, I also found out that NZJPA didn't even work with the Jigsaw on this event, but with the Toy Wagon, which is another online store where you can buy puzzles, not sponsored. So doing your research right makes a big difference. But anyway, we kind of got somewhere with that. And now I think you have good foundation on what happened on Saturday, so we can jump up forwards a couple of days and I'll fill you on that one. On Saturday, Ben and I made our way to Napier. So it was at the Green Meadows East Community Hall, to be very precise. The registrations opened at 8:15. We arrived pretty much spot on at that time. Some known faces were already there, some others arrived later, and there were a lot of new people too. So first thing, strategic discussion on which table to choose. That's why I always come early, so I don't have to have the stupid table in the corner. So you kind of have to, not have to decide, but the thing that I'm trying to consider is the lighting. So some, depending on how the room is, some tables get better lighting than others. Just from the natural light coming through the windows. So you want to go close to windows and not into the shady corner. Also the temperature, because it was freezing cold on that morning, and the doors of the hall were quite wide open, so I didn't want to have the table that's straight on the door because I was so cold. It's probably also because in the morning I hadn't had too much food yet, so I was really, really cold, pretty much like now. And so we finally settled on a table. Mike was in front of me, I was behind him. There were only 10 tables to choose from, but with 19 competitors, which means there was only half tables. So in the beginning we thought like that we would share a table, and then Mike said, no, that's too intimidating, he doesn't want to have that. So he went in front of me, I went behind him, and yeah, the half tables were a bit tricky because like a 500-piece puzzle on a half table is usually fine, but I was told that the eeBoo puzzles, the 500-piece puzzles and the 1,000-piece puzzles are actually the same size, just that the 500 have like larger pieces. So they would use up most of the space on the table, and that would be really tricky. And I was so nervous that finally when they distributed the puzzles wrapped in this secretive dark grey foil, I was a bit you would not believe how nervous you can get and how stressful these are. So unlike at the Masters Games, we were allowed to open the plastic bag like a little bit ahead of time, so maybe like a minute or so. Well, in the Masters Games, the race clock starts and everyone cuts frantically open the bags. But in that one, you're cutting open the bags like in peace and quiet, and then you have like, I don't know how long that is, like 30 minutes or 30 seconds or a minute or so to look at the image. And once I opened the bag, lo and behold, it was Rooftop Garden! The one and only squared one that I had studied. I was so, so happy, you would not believe. Have a listen to that.
Yes! You practiced this one yesterday? Did you? How did you randomly practice the exact puzzle? Wait, you did this one yesterday?
Okay, so once the clock had started, I started flipping the pieces and sorted the edge out as you do, but the lack of space was becoming so obvious straight away. It was no way you could have started putting the edge together because there was just no space. So I pushed the edge to the side and started on red. So I started with the watering can, the radishes and the tomatoes. What I thought was a beetroot in my studying the other day turned out to be a flower pot, but yeah, whatever. Then I tried the dress on the left, and I was missing pieces there, so I gave up, jumped to pink, didn't get anywhere, moved to the next thing. I jumped back and forth between different things. I did not feel very confident because I didn't get anywhere, and so I went to the yellow pots and then to the flowers, and it's like, the lack of space really became a problem really, really early. I started piling stuff on the trays, and then had trays on trays and trays on the pile, and just shifted the trays back and forth, and it was really annoying. It was really not funny anymore. Like, the lack of space was so bad. I was also freaking out that my pieces would mix with the pieces from the lady next to me, because she had pieces on both sides of her puzzle, and I've seen that on the World's live stream before, that it happened to someone, and that's pretty much game over if that happens, because it's the same puzzle, so you don't know where they belong. Luckily, only once her box, because she didn't have a box holder, her box moved onto my side, onto my pieces, but that wasn't a big deal, so that was pretty much fine. Another thing is that the box actually conceals two areas, like one up here and one down here, where you don't know what's behind that. So luckily it comes with a poster, which is this one here. I heard people saying because it's not true to color, they didn't like it much, but for my purpose it helped me to work out what's in the corner. Probably the biggest problem again was that I hadn't had any space to put that poster, so I ended up throwing it onto the floor and just having a glimpse onto the floor every now and then. That worked for me, but like, oh my god, I would have so preferred to have a full table. And Michael, he had a full table because one person didn't show up, so he actually spilled out all his pieces onto the full table, and I thought he should have pushed them back and the volunteers should have made him use only the half table, but good on him, he had a full table. I'm very jealous of that, but anyway. And while we're talking about throwing things on the floor, like me with my posters, when you register, you get given a piece of paper that has your name on, and when you finish, a volunteer writes the final time on a piece of paper and hands it to the referee for data entry. And because I had no space, I ended up throwing that piece of paper on the floor too. And one of the volunteers saw that, and she really wasn't happy about it at all. The rules clearly state that the paper needs to be displayed at all times. So she made me make space on the table and actually put the paper back on. And I'm very glad that she didn't disqualify me for that. I shouldn't have thrown it on the floor. That wasn't nice of me. But I was so upset with the lack of space. But anyway, let it go. Let it go. Embarrassingly late, I also noticed that the pieces were rectangular, so they are not squared, so you can actually see if they go lengths or sideways. And I usually try to make a mental effort to realize what type of pieces they are, like if there are special pieces in there. So this one has special pieces. Like, have a look at my other video with the die cuts and those piece shapes where I explain that. But like, just having a mindful realization what type of pieces that is might help you later on. But I didn't do that on this one, and I realized that very late in the process that you can actually see if they go lengths or sideways, which would have helped in the beginning, so you don't have to try as much, because there's only 2 directions that they can go in. Long story short, I finished in just under 1 hour at 58 minutes, 56 seconds. I was really pleased with that. Everything under the hour, I mean, it's like a magical limit. Like, whenever I go under the hour, which is not very often, I'm so happy about it. And I cannot describe how stressful this is, because you don't know how far ahead you are, or if you're behind, or like you don't have time to compare to other people, so you never know. So I came first. Like, you hear it when people clap, so you know if you're first or not. So I came first. I was so happy. It's so nice, and it is such a relief when you finally finish a puzzle. It's the most stressful thing I've ever done. Like, speed puzzling, you would not believe how stressful that is. I cannot describe that, but it is absolutely stressful. So I came first, and just like in the Masters game, Michael came second, so first and second just the same. Michael had 1 hour and 7. And the other Michael finished at third with 1 hour and 11 minutes. And in the end, all the competitors finished before the 3-hour cutoff time, even with 20 minutes to spare. I was really pleased with that. It's always nice to see if everyone finished, because if you don't finish, it's just such a bad feeling. And like, I was happy that everyone finished. And nice, great organization, good puzzle that you can do in 3 hours. And yeah, I like that a lot. And then it was finally time for the prize giving. So place 2 and 3, the 2 Michaels, they got certificates. And on top of the certificate, I also got eeBoo playing cards. So the playing cards are really fancy. They're high quality and they have gilded edges. They're so nice. I also got a felt roll for mind bogglers. Like, a felt roll, you can roll up unfinished puzzles and store it away for later. I'm not sure if it works that well. I have my doubts, to be honest. But the great prize was definitely the flower bouquet that I also got. Like, the flower bouquet is honestly so nice. It has pieces, like jigsaw puzzle pieces, incorporated into the flowers, and because the flowers are artificial, they will actually last, which I was really pleased by, because I thought I had to throw it away really soon, which would be a shame because it's so pretty. It will definitely get a special place in my living room, and because it is so nice, I had assumed that they ordered it custom made from a florist. But I learned later on that one of the participants had actually made it herself and donated it to the event. It's amazing. Like, Joy is just the best. She is so lovely and nice. Like, we already met her at the Masters Games, and her creativity is genius. Like, she's also wearing this jigsaw puzzle coat. Like, it's a black coat, and she has red metallic jigsaw puzzle sewn onto the collar. Looks so nice, and also has a jigsaw pattern on the back. But not in a kind of cheap and like kitsch way, but in a really classy, nice way. I was trying to see if I could capture it somewhere on my footage, but I couldn't find anything. But her team came second, so this is her here. And thank you so much, Joy. The flower bouquet is just the best. I'm so lucky to have gotten it. And while we're talking teams, let's move on to the teams competition. So my friend Michael had approached me a while ago asking if we would do the teams competition together, so we did sign up with the 2 of us. We then learned that the teams competition in this event specifically allows for 2, 3 or 4 people. And obviously if you're only with 2 or 3 people, you're heavily disadvantaged over teams that are 4 people. So we recruited Christine, who we also had befriended at the Masters Games, and we knew that she would be coming and also participate in the individuals. And then my husband Ben, who's not usually a puzzler, but he agreed to fill in the last spot because everyone's better than nothing, right? So I had done one morning of puzzling with Michael in the library a few weeks back, where we completed a Ravensburger 1000 and a Ravensburger 500 together. And then on Friday afternoon, I puzzled one puzzle together with Ben to teach him how speed puzzling works. I mean, as if you could teach that in an afternoon, but anyway, that was it. So none of us had ever participated in a team competition ever, and the 4 of us had never puzzled together either, and we were all quite nervous, but I think Ben was the most nervous of us all, because he wasn't a puzzler at all, and he was really worried that he would drag us down. But we discussed the strategy, who was sitting where, which way around the puzzle would get, who's doing what, and then we would just wing it. So the puzzle was a 1,000-piece eeBoo puzzle called UFO Victorian Ladies. Like, what a weird combination. We all liked it though. It's many bright colors and a lot of different textures that were easy to differentiate and also easy to distribute between the different people. And the puzzling was so much fun in the team and so much frantic movements. Like, have a look at the time lapse. In the end, we again finished under the magic limit of 1 hour at 52 minutes and 41 seconds, and I was so pleased with that. I mean, I never thought we would be that fast, like have never practiced and anything. An hour 15 or an hour 30 was kind of my prediction, but 52 minutes, oh my god, that's amazing! And it earned us the first place again, so happy. Second place went to Julian, Ollie, Susan and Joy. And they were also still under an hour, so really fierce competition there. And then Cherie, Raywin, Jane and Ainsley came third. The cutoff time for the teams was also 3 hours, and in the end there was only one team still going, which was Christy and Michael. None of the two Michaels from the individuals, like a third Michael. Like, what is with this name and speed puzzling? I don't know. Anyway, the two of them were making slow but steady progress, and we were discussing if they would make it before the cutoff. And we were really hopeful, but the time was running short. We were all very hoping that they would make it. 10 minutes to go, like people started to gather around them, which made them visibly nervous, of course, because people were starting to cheer and like it was at least another 30 pieces to go and there was still an edge piece missing and everything like, sorry, I don't have footage for that, but I didn't think it was appropriate to film, but I got really, really close and only 5 minutes to go. The pressure mounted and the people were cheering and I was so excited. And finally they smashed the last two pieces in simultaneously with just 3 minutes to spare to the cutoff. They got the biggest applause of the day and everyone was so happy. It was so good. But then, stupid me couldn't shut their mouth, and I saw that a piece was missing, and I told them that there was a piece missing. I ruined the whole atmosphere, and I felt really, really bad, and everyone was frantically trying to find the missing piece. And then finally, like, the weirdest thing happened, like one of the volunteers, she went backstage where like all the empty plastic bags were kind of already in the rubbish, and she came back with the missing piece, like, it was like a Festivus miracle. It was so good. And they were cheering again. Like, this was the best story ever. But the best about the best story, like Ben later on in the car told me that he had heard that Christy actually signed up with a full team of people and that the other three bailed out like really just last minute. And because she was so devastated, she convinced her brother, who doesn't usually do jigsaw puzzles, to come to the competition with her and finish the competition. Like, this is so nice. I absolutely love it. It's such a lovely story. Alright, there you have it. That's what happened at the Hawke's Bay Regional Speed Puzzling event. What a day. Absolutely amazing. Please consider to like and subscribe so you can keep up to date with what's happening here on the channel. Like in July, I'm going to the National Championships in Auckland, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be nerve-wracking as ever. And I also still owe you the video on if speed puzzling is actually a real sport or not. Okay, so last thing, please bear with me, because I know how YouTube cards work, like this one here on how I would have placed in national championships last year, but this is the first video where I'm trying end cards, so I hope it works, and if it doesn't, I'll apologize in advance, okay? Alright, then I'll see you in the next one. Bye!